Have you ever noticed a lot of times in the scriptures, there's the example of like the law of the harvest, that they use a lot of examples, a lot of parables about growing things and waiting for things to grow. And we were studying James, and it talked about how it said, be patient. He's talking about being patient. And he says, when someone plants something, obviously I'm paraphrasing, he doesn't just, it says, he waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth and hath long patience for it until he received the early and latter rain. And I was thinking about this as we were discussing this as a class, and I was thinking, how many people in this room, like even my kids, they don't understand gardening. Like, think about it. Like, I don't even understand gardening. When was the last time I legit planted something? Or for them, and to understand how when you plant something, you don't just plant it. You don't just plant it and leave it. I mean, I guess you can. But typically, if you're, you have to do work, and you have to water it, and you have to weed it. And let's say you're doing even, carrots, you have to thin the carrots. I remember actually planting carrots once and going, you have to thin carrots. You threw away those baby carrots. Anyways, in this day and age, and especially I'm thinking my kids and even us, how annoyed are we when our internet's slow? That's a big problem in our home, is if the internet's slow. Or how annoyed are we if we can't get something overnight, or we can't, Amazon doesn't have it, can't deliver it right away, or, we can't connect, we can't open something, we're waiting for something to download, we're waiting for a package. How irritated are we? And so many times in the scriptures, it talks about patience, and it talks about, the law of the harvest, how you plant and how you wait and how you endure. And how we're becoming a society of Google. You type it into Google and you find an answer. And so many times in the scriptures, and I look at the scriptures and I think, why was this saved for thousands of years for me to read? That's how I read the scriptures, not as a history book, but why did God save this for so many thousands of years for me to read? What am I to learn from this? What does he want me to know? And a lot he's saying is patience, because he saw our day and he knew how convenient everything would be, how quickly we would get stuff. But learning of God and getting answers from God is not a quick thing. You can't Google. You can't get the answers quickly. Actually, it's the absolute opposite. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience. I mean, he's telling us that over and over and over again in the scriptures, that it's not something that comes quickly. Just last night I was talking to my daughter and I said, anything great takes a lot of work. Rarely, and if you work hard, then it means a lot more to you. Like anything of great value, it takes so much work, and you put so much work and time and effort into it. That's the same with your relationship with God, that it takes a lot of work, that it takes time, it takes patience. And think about it, when you plant something, and you look at this analogy, I mean, it works in so many ways. If you plant something, how you don't just leave it, you have to weed it, you have to focus on it, that you're constantly working even before you get the reward. But you have faith that you're going to get the reward. You have faith in the seed. You have faith that if you plant it and nourish it and do all the things, that you're going to get something at the end. But it takes a long time. I mean, you don't plant a seed and the next day be like, seriously? There's no answer? I didn't get anything? You don't do that. That doesn't make logical sense. But it takes time. And sometimes, I've planted things and I'm like, oh my goodness, nothing's going to happen. And you're right. Sometimes it looks like nothing's going to happen. And then the next day you go out and you're like, wow. But it takes time. And we're losing that. We're losing endurance. We're losing patience. We're losing in this quick fix society we're in, where we can Google everything, where we can, overnight stuff where we instantly get stuff. That's not how God works. And so you're not going to get an answer overnight. You have to put the time, the work, the effort, and then it may come. But it takes time. Anything that's hard work is so worth it. So that was just something I realized that my kids need to learn. That we need to, that if we're planting a garden, it's not necessarily for us, for healthy eating, for whatever, but it's for them to understand that not everything comes at something. It takes time and it takes work, and the reward at the end is so worth it. So think about that with your relationship that you may have, any relationship, but especially your relationship with Christ. Are you working hard at it? Is it continual? And sometimes it feels like the heavens are closed. Trust me, I know that. But also trust me that I know that if you keep working, that the clouds there will be a break and you will feel the warmth of His light. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful, wonderful week.